I love Mike Hanson Archives.
Are you ready to run?
Hello, Austin, Texas. My name is Alex Jones. This is Exposing Corruption. We are live. We are standing up against the corrupt forces that would enslave America and the world. Literally. Tonight we have a story that is one of the most important events in U.S. history. And you've never heard me say that, have you? No, you haven't. Black helicopters have been attacking the South Texas coast. Now, we went down to Kingsville. They were attacked Monday night. We went down there Wednesday and Thursday. After this program Wednesday night, last Wednesday, I left. You're going to see video from the next morning and the next day in Kingsville. And next week, we'll show even more. The UN piece has been put off for 3 weeks. We'll have to wait till later because so much more is happening, so much more is going on. The piece of information, well, there's so much here. There's so much happening. There's so much to deal with. In Kingsville, the sheriff was not notified. The fire chief was not notified. The county commissioners were not notified. And the police were not notified until several hours before the event. I left town, left Kingsville that Thursday, came back, and then Friday, Saturday morning, got the news from David M. Bresnahan, a national syndicated talk radio host, as well as one of the staff writers for WorldNet Daily, one of the fastest growing internet news sites. Millions of hits a day. And he called me after I'd been down there to do the story, after I'd emailed him photos for his story that was breaking big on WorldNet Daily. He told me that something I didn't believe, and then I checked it out. I called the Corpus Christi Caller newspaper. Corpus Christi's almost 1 million people, guys. Large newspaper. I called, I checked it out online. They were attacked Friday, and Friday they didn't even tell the police or the mayor or anybody. They're becoming more arrogant. Now they're in San Antonio. Now you remember back in May, Ali Phillips, chief of police of San Antonio, threw them out for trying to bribe him, endangering public safety. Well, it's totally exploded. It's absolutely out of control. They're now at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, right in the middle of town. It's a small base compared to all the big bases on the periphery all around north, south, east, and west of San Antonio. They're doing it right in the middle of the town. It's meant as psychological warfare to educate the people of Texas that they better not play games. What is the Delta Force and the Night Stalkers, two separate groups, engaging in? From Special Forces Warfare Command in Fort Bragg. They're engaging in psychological warfare. Most of them don't even know what their mission entails. They just go practice taking over police stations, water treatment plants, refineries, things of this nature. Police ought to wake up and realize this. I'll probably, after my radio show tomorrow night, I'll probably go down to San Antonio and stake the situation out. I'll also have confirmation from Fort Hood and a listener from my national radio show in California, a lady who I've been getting info for from over a year, that 100 experts in anti-terrorism are going to Corpus Christi, that they've already landed there. And we got reports before I got this that C-130s are landing by the dozens at the Naval Air Station there in Corpus Christi, and that never happens anymore. We have major military movement. Let me repeat it for you one more time. Last Monday, Operation Last Dance kicked off in Kingsville, Texas, right outside of Corpus Christi, about 30 miles outside. Then, a little bit west of there in Corpus Christi, they attacked on Friday without the police even knowing. Now, we've got about a 29-minute, 30-minute piece we're going to run tonight. When we get back, I'm going to go through all these key news stories. There's one important thing to notice. When you go to WorldNet Daily, their lead story from today is the simple fact that Texas is being invaded, and now Fort Bragg spokesperson is, who we interviewed last night on the radio, he is now admitting that they did use live fire, but trying to lie about it and saying that these rounds were for practice. It could not penetrate. Well, we have bullet holes. We have people reporting bullet holes. We have doors blown off their hinges. Practice rounds do not do that right in the middle of a populated city. The city itself has 25 to 30,000 people. The county, 50,000 people. Kingsville. But again, the story you're going to see is important. It's documentation, but it doesn't even go halfway far enough towards what happened in Port Aransas. In fact, let me read this article right offline. I have the Corpus Christi Caller from Wednesday of last week, the actual paper when I was in Corpus Christi, where they talk about how former Delta Force people are involved on the police department there in town. You can check that out from last Wednesday online at www.callertimes.com. Let me read this to you. Now listen to how they downplay the information when you first get into it. Military training disrupts Port A residents. Well, you bet it did. Local officials say they were unprepared for questions, complaints from residents about exercises. Now, the headline should be what's down here. Now, listen to this. From staff reports, the Department of Defense conducted training Friday in Port Aransas similar to exercises earlier this week in Kingsville. Channel 6 News reported. We have the footage from that. But we were unable to get it up here to the studio. It's aired here in Austin on Fox News 2 nights ago of the police station burning, the top floor burning. That was locked. We were unable to get into it. We can show you the damage on the bottom floor. Port Aransas Mayor Glenn Martin, the mayor, said he didn't know how to answer questions from residents about the training because he hadn't been notified. I didn't know what was going on, Martin said. They were calling me up and asking me about a bunch of black helicopters. Now, we have dozens of people on tape, from county officials to you name it, talking about black helicopters. We're going to play it for you. My God, I saw about 6 of them today as I was driving through Austin. Not flat green, black. Apaches and Blackhawks. You know, Blackhawks are called Blackhawks for a reason. They were flying without lights into a populated area. They hit the county judge's employee's power line and it fell over and caught a fire. That's 14 miles outside town. East of town. Then they come in and start opening fire on the police station. Oh, that's real good. They insert troops. They land on top of the Exxon Executive Building and blow out almost all the windows. A reporter comes out and they run up to him and put guns to his head and take his camera. We have this from David M. Bresnahan. Talked to the reporter in depth, and I talked to them as well over the telephone. The guy called me back on a payphone. We go into the newspaper and they wouldn't talk to us and told us to leave. Now, it's key that when you go to WorldNet Daily, the new story today has links on it. When you're reading through the story, there'll be a part that's highlighted that says photos. Go to the photos. It's in the article. Go to it. You can see digital photos, a digitized video from what you're about to see here. Okay? And then you will hear exact transcripts in some of the articles. There's about 8 of them now on WorldNet Daily by Joseph Ferreira. He's author of major books, also a national radio host as well. And, of course, the founder of WorldNet Daily. You can check that out. But David M. Bresnahan's articles are excellent. We have some plans that I'm going to be dealing with in the next few days. We're going to confront the enemy. Don't you worry. I've sworn to do it. We stopped them from coming to Austin. They don't have a military base except for Camp Mabry here, and I don't think it's sufficient for them to do their attack here. They are defying the police chief in San Antonio. At WorldNet Daily, you can actually read the transcript. You can actually read the transcript. The story heading is the Army invading Texas? Officials residents concerned about rash of exercises. The transcript from the video you've seen 100 times of Ali Phillips is right here for you. Those that laugh at the internet. Live Congress is on the internet. Everything's on the internet. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of great stuff like WorldNet Daily. One Texas police chief has complained about attempts to bribe him into letting Army Delta Force into his town training exercises. End runs were done around me to various community leaders. You remember hearing all these quotes. In some places, that's called bribery. It's all here for you. I mean, this just shows how we're making the news. I've had 50 calls plus from TV stations, radio stations. I've been doing interviews on KTSA in San Antonio, many others, giving them the info. They're finally waking up here in Texas. NBC's TextNet has been picking it up at many different stations around the state. The full report was 2 minutes. The reporter was visibly shaken. The beta tapes are being sent to me to transfer to 3/4 to show you here next week. But we do it all ourselves. Mike Hanson, me, John, Buckley, and a few other people do all the work of a major news agency. We're exhausted. We're burning out. We're trying as hard as we can. Before we go to this tape, then we'll be back to actually get into some more detail for you. Repeat, this is Exposing Corruption. My name's Alex Jones. I've been fighting this stuff for around 4.5, 5 years now. And this story is unprecedented. Black helicopters attacked 2 South Texas towns. They also attacked, we now find out, several others. I'll list those later. It is absolutely incredible what is happening, guys. San Augustine, and others. I mean, they're coming in after this first mission where some of the local officials knew. They told the police several hours before and had them go and get around and block off the streets in downtown Kingsville. Now, again, in Port Aransas, they did not warn them when they took over a refinery, did live firing explosions in front of everybody. People thought banks were being robbed. People were panicking. Police came out to the scene, but they weren't about to fire on big black helicopters. This sets the precedent, guys. It was in the New York Times, a small blurb yesterday. That's all. It's been all over talk radio, though, nationwide. It's absolutely incredible, this story that we've blown wide open with a little access TV show and a radio show here locally and my national radio show. The key area, and last night I interviewed this gentleman. His name is Thomas Sanchez. He is head of FEMA in that area. Let me read from WorldNet Daily. I'm the guy that turned this guy on him. We actually went to his offices, but he was out. We'd heard that he was very angry. The head of emergency management for Kingsville is the Federal Emergency Management Agency Coordinator, Thomas Sanchez. He is a highly decorated Vietnam veteran. Yeah, shot down twice. Navy veteran, wounded in Vietnam and retired after 30 years of service. He now continues to serve as the head of the military police unit for the Texas State Guard, which is under the National Guard. Do you hear that? This is not a kook. This is Federal Emergency Management Agency worker, Vietnam veteran, highly decorated, head of the Texas State National Guard. Think about it. Sanchez, and I interviewed him for 30 minutes last night, Sanchez has had extensive experience and training in special operations and has expressed deep concern to WorldNet Daily about events in Kingsville. He was asked what the purpose of the exercise was. He said that the plan involved a scenario that required military action because local police could not deal with civilians effectively. Now here's the training scenario. This is a scenario. Martial law has been declared through Presidential Powers and War Powers Act. Remember, he has a security clearance to this. And some citizens have refused to give up their weapons. They have taken over 2 of the buildings in Kingsville. The police cannot handle it, so you call in these guys. They show up and zap everybody, take all the weapons, and let the PD clean it up, described Sanchez of the scenario of the Night Stalkers were likely given. Night Stalkers, another cadre, the assassination cadre of the Delta Force. Sanchez says the military exercise in his town was illegal under the Posse Comitatus Act, which says the Presidential Decision Directive 25 has given an exception to special operations. He believes the men involved have total immunity from any legal action against them. Although PDD 25 is top secret, Sanchez has it because of his position with FEMA and has a security clearance. He would not provide a copy to WorldNet Daily. This is the real deal, guys. I interviewed him last night. I'm the guy that gave this guy to WorldNet Daily. He's down there running FEMA, head of the military police for the Texas National Guard, Vietnam veteran. This is not a joke. Again, the Night Stalkers are an assassination team. He'll even tell you that here in the article. They are practicing assassinating people at police stations, for God's sakes. Like terrorists are going to take over police stations filled with cops. That is asinine. Terrorists will take over schools and other things or blow up federal buildings, as Clinton has authorized the secret government to do. Just like Hitler burnt the Reichstag. Okay, when we get back, I've got a whole passel of other news stories here, things that will blow you away. It's time to wake up. Black helicopters, secret military teams have attacked Port Aransas without any authorization, without any notification. They've been thrown out of San Antonio. They're now bivouacked, according to Fort Bragg's public relations person that we interviewed last night. It's also here in WorldNet Daily. They are there. They are prepared. They're moving forward, and they're going to have their exercise in San Antonio, right there in the middle of town at a small Army base, right in front of everybody. These other exercises were not on bases, in the middle of Kingsville. Now, again, I just slapped this together today. It's 30 minutes long. I got 6 hours of this stuff, and it's incredible. So bear with us, sit back and watch it. This is Kingsville this Thursday after the aftermath. They were there pulling out fire damage, repairing the police station and the Exxon building, the Exxon executive building. This is a probing attempt to desensitize the public, to make them accept martial law. It also sets the precedent that police don't know they should fire on invasion forces. Remember, Clinton was trained in Europe. Clinton represents European interests who he's been at war with no fewer than 5 times in the last 200-something years. That's where the power comes from, not Japan, not China. China's being used to leverage us out economically in the balance of trade, with slave labor, with no environmental standards, with high tariffs on us when we have low tariffs on them. It's a deindustrialization policy to kick us back to the Stone Age. Compact cities, slavery, with the cult mentality being phony environmentalism to take over property rights. This is Exposing Corruption. Again, my name is Alex Jones. I want to thank the crew. I want to thank the sponsor, 98.9 KJFK FM Radio. Let's go ahead and go to the important piece. Again, we're independent people standing up and struggling. And again, we'll put up the website for WorldNet Daily if you want to see photos of this and transcripts from the audio and video you're about to see, just to show the credibility of these stories that we blew wide open right here on this program. Not the first. Let's go to that. On February 8th, 1999, in Kingsville, Texas, Army Special Operations Warfare Command from Fort Bragg attacked the town of Kingsville without notifying the fire department, the county judge, the county sheriff's office. But you see, they were working hand in glove with the local police department for this surprise operation, or this surprise drill they called it, that terrified local citizens who thought the bank was being robbed, that the police station was being attacked. And they did it about 200 feet from a nursing home. Think about this, America. But this Kingsville isn't even that important compared to what happened to Port Aransas. Port Aransas, 4 days later, was attacked. And this time they didn't even notify the local police or the mayor. Oh, by the way, citizens are reporting the helicopters as being black. This is an unbelievable story. Right here in Texas. When we got there, the workers were already putting on a new coat of fresh paint and pulling out the fire damage from the abandoned police station. Boy, we can still smell the fire. You fixing this area where it burned through?
Yes, sir. Just sit here.
Hey, how you doing? Alex Jones from Austin, Texas. I got a radio show and a little TV show. What's your name?
Jerry McQueen.
Jerry McQueen?
Yes, sir.
So you're fixing the fire damage here?
Yes, sir. Boarding up the windows and doors.
So you're boarding up the windows and doors?
Yes, sir.
From Army Special Operations Command's work?
Yes, sir. Securing it so that way no vandalism or anything.
You're securing it, so no vandalism.
Well, they still tear things up.
So. Oh, I understand. No, we appreciate what you're doing. Just a few more questions if you have the time. I understand you're busy. Did you actually see Army Special Operations Delta Force?
I seen some of it. That was it.
What color were their uniforms?
I don't recall. It was dark from a distance.
From a distance, you really couldn't make out their black uniforms very closely.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
All different types of helicopters, or just mainly one type?
Mainly one type that I'd seen.
Was that Black Hawk?
I'm not sure. I don't
Larger
know.
Helicopters?
Medium size, I'd say.
Medium size. Were the police working with them in these exercises?
They had the streets blocked off.
Where was your vantage point?
Behind the bank.
Cool. So you were behind the bank, behind the police roadblocks?
Yeah, in behind them. So they wouldn't let you in close to it, so you just had to stay away from it.
How serious was the fire damage? I see you're having to...
It's just a little bit of things that are burnable inside the building. So I don't...
Oh, so basically this is a brick building, so the flammable things burned?
Yes. Just like wood and things like that, I guess.
So basically this building is burnt out on the inside?
Yeah, basically. It's center block. You're not going to hurt it much.
Yeah.
So it's just the things that are charcoaled on the inside.
Did the military come around here afterwards and clean up all the shell casings and things?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Did you hear weapons fire?
Yes, we heard machine guns. or we heard weapons.
You heard machine guns and explosions?
Yeah, there's explosions.
Keith, you go around inside while I keep diverted, and I'll get us some of the fire damage footage.
Sure, give it a shot. Juan Garcia.
Juan, what's your position here in the city of Kingsville?
Oh, I work for Malby Construction.
So y'all are just contracted out for the city to repair
just to secure the buildings. That's all. This building and the Exxon building. And that's it. I mean, that's our only job.
So now y'all are here just to secure and put the windows back in and kind of tear out some of the fire damage and things that were caused here to Army Special Warfare Command. Monday night and early Tuesday morning did their exercises here.
Right. That's all I know. As far as any of that, where they came from or what they are, I don't know.
Had you been told about it before?
They told us that we were going to be securing a building, and that's all. We had to work late at night and securing a building, and that's all they told us. So
we've talked to the assistant police chief and others, and they told us that it was a secret operation until the time that it actually transpired. Were you in town when it happened?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were. Like I said, we were waiting to seal off the building. So that's all they told us. That's all they told us we were going to be sealing off a building late at night, and that's all. That's
after it was broken into.
Right.
Mr. Garcia, if y'all were contracted out to secure the building, I would take it that y'all were here on site or quite near with some of the police that were also involved in the operation. Can you tell us what you saw and heard?
Basically, what I saw was just helicopters flying around and gunfire and explosions. But the police were all there, and they told us don't be calm. This is just an exercise.
Just be calm. And
yeah.
Were the police working with the military?
Yes, sir, they were. As far as I know. I mean, because they sealed off the streets, pretty much in a hurry.
Was there bullet holes inside?
Yeah, we saw some stuff like that, and that's you couldn't hear very much because there was a lot of noise, the choppers and stuff.
How many choppers?
I can't recall. I would say like 6. I don't, I didn't count them. There were small ones and big ones. So.
Oh, small ones and big ones. We were told that there were actually some attack Apache type aircraft, and then also some Blackhawks in support that were actually delivering the troops.
Right. I guess. I mean, like I said, I don't know the difference between the helicopters, but there was several big ones and some small ones and stuff.
So you saw several big ones and some small ones. Can you try to give us a ballpark figure?
I would say 5, 6. Somewhere on there. I don't remember.
So 2 or 3 small ones and 2 or 3 big ones?
Yeah. There wasn't very many big ones. I think there was only like 2 big ones. That's it. And then the rest were just small.
So 2 large helicopters and 4 small helicopters.
Right.
That's about what you saw. Mm-hmm. And you say that. Can you tell us, were they coming down from ropes from the helicopters?
I couldn't see that, sir. I don't know. Like I say, we saw them, but they just flew by, and when we weren't at a vantage point to see what was actually happening.
Okay, we're here right off 6th Street in downtown Kingsville, down here on the South Texas coast, near the Gulf of Mexico. Can you tell us, sir, exactly what color these helicopters were?
Black. Yes, I mean, it was real dark. I mean, you couldn't see anything, so I just...
There were no markings like on other aircraft or lights. It was just black helicopters.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And your name's Juan Garcia. You're the head of this...
I'm a supervisor just for Malby Construction.
Malby Construction, and y'all were contracted. Y'all weren't told exactly what was going to happen. Again, you were just basically told that you were going to come out to site to secure some buildings after some damage was done to them. And you say that you saw black helicopters, heard weapons fire and explosions.
Right. That's it. Just black.
Black helicopters.
Yes, sir.
And you couldn't see any markings. Were there lights on the helicopters?
No, sir. Not when I saw them. Not at all.
And how low were they?
Oh, right above the buildings. Real low. Real low. Yeah.
And that's incredibly dangerous if it's not an emergency. That's incredibly dangerous if it's not an emergency situation. Well, listen. Thanks a lot for your time. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
We were unable to get into the 2nd floor and show you the total fire damage. We were able to get into the bottom floor and document some of this unprecedented activity in Kingsville, Texas. Again, all part of desensitizing the public. Black helicopters, jokes for years. We've been conditioned by the mainstream media to laugh at it. Now they're engaging in what I would call terrorist activities, endangering the public's safety, right next door to a nursing home. We'll talk to some people a little bit later. It's out of control. It's out of control. Now, this is Kingsville. Port Aransas is even worse. We haven't got a chance to get down there yet. Friday, this was on Monday. Friday, they attacked Port Aransas without even telling the police, without even telling the mayor. I mean, this is an act of war. This is out of control. Well, this is quite bizarre. We've gotten here, and they've already come in and pulled out all the flammable areas, put in new wood right here. Get a shot of that. And they're repainting on the outside to cover up the fire damage, literally 2 days after it happened. They told us they fixed the Exxon station the night of the event. This is absolutely incredible, but it just goes along with Delta Force's classical training, with what they did in Miami, firing into an all-night restaurant. Here, low-flying helicopters. This is endangering public safety, and it's all about getting police, local law enforcement, sheriff's departments, you name it, used to working hand in glove with the United States military for martial law exercises. Delta came right in here, guys. God, it reeks in here of smoke. Look at that door, get a shot of that. All the doors have that done to them.
Well, you can see this
Yeah,
residue left that's from their door blaster rounds. It's the ceramic stuff that they shoot it with, a 12 gauge. Blows out the lock.
Getting a shot of that, Mike? Yeah. Quite interesting. Try to get close with that yourself, Keith. Well, here's special operations style, ladies and gentlemen. Ransack police station.
Done, but they had to use the boys.
Yeah. Well, here we are in... Yeah, go ahead and shine your light that way. Yeah. We'll just stand here and shine it that way, or go back into there as we pan. We shine it on that and then pan over to that as we talk. Well, here we are at the abandoned police station. It's been totally, completely ransacked, and you've got the blast points here on the doors from their special ceramic shotgun slugs. And then let's get a shot of the door, show them what it does to a door. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is Army Special Operations Delta Force style. Special Operations Command. Training all over the U.S. hundreds of times a year. All part of training local police to accept an out-of-control police state. Oh yeah, here's all the fire damage. Look at all this. This is fire, see? But where, if it smells like fire and there's soot everywhere, where'd it come from? I mean, what, oh, I guess all the paper and stuff that was in here burned. Yeah. This building's interesting. It's just all burnt, I believe is the word. Oh, somebody left their water bottle there from the work they were doing. You look down on the ground there, especially right-hand corner, you can see all of the soot and pieces of burnt wood. But they'd already torn all that out. Most of the fire damage, we're told, was, again, on the top story that was locked. And I'm not going to break the law. I'm not going to bust the lock open. We're told it was full of bullet holes. Again, all for your safety in the middle of civilian-populated areas. That'll train them good. That'll train them to be slaves and accept slavery. And next time black helicopters drop by, maybe a foreign nation, the police will say, well, that's just what they do. They just blow things up. Again, this is Kingsville, where some of the locals were informed. The citizens, well, they were not informed. In the middle of a populated area. But it's key to understand that in Port Aransas, and we haven't gotten a chance to get down to Port Aransas yet, according to the newspapers down there and interviews we've conducted over the telephone, the mayor and police chief and sheriff were not even informed when they attacked an oil refinery. And here you have the workers putting the second coat of paint over the fire damage. We actually talked to them, and they admitted this earlier, and we could play it again if you want. But what's the point? It's just ridiculous activity. Just nauseating to accept this type of slavery. You're being desensitized. I was told this building was scheduled for demolition, but of course they're painting it. And I'll tell you why the city's doing that. Because they don't want people to see what the secret military teams are doing right here in America. Delta Force style. Now, we're y'all's friends, man. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the country right now. Believe me, this is not good. But it's for our children. It's for the love. Bill Clinton's such a loving liberal. He's always abhorred the military, but now that it's his, oh, yes. Delta Force munitions, a solid ceramic slug used to blast open doors. So the jackbooted thugs don't even have to hurt their feet anymore. They just got these special team members to use the 70mm or 12-gauge shotgun slug and blast their way to victory. So loving. Again, Kingsville, Texas. Very close to Corpus Christi. We're about 25 miles from the coast. The site of Army Special Operations Command training, Delta Force style. Black uniforms working hand in hand with local law enforcement, helping to break down the barriers between the federal police state and your local cop on the beat. Keep them local. That's constitutional. And for those that say this has anything to do with national security, our borders are wide open. U.S. Customs doesn't even search the majority of crates that come into our major ports, $900 billion a year. And U.S. Customs admits that they call and warn the warehouses 2 days before and tell them what crates they're going to come search. This is total corruption. So for them to say it's national security and terrorists are going to attack and we've got to give up our rights and all the rest of this garbage is a complete and total fraud. It's about a police state. Government knows that you're waking up to what they're doing. They want your property. Government's growing, and they're not going to back down until you stand up. Government's not kindler and gentler, and the age of big government has just begun. And we're here in Kingsville, Texas, the site of Army Special Operations Command training, Delta Force style. They came in here and burned down, or burned out, much of the inside of the old police department. But now they're over there painting and pulling out and taking out the fire damage and all the rest of this. What are they trying to hide? Right here on Exposing Corruption. Actually landed the helicopters.
Yes, they did. They landed.
I was told that some people came down out of from ropes, actually.
Well, they landed some helicopters on that building over there, that old Exxon building on top. 4 helicopters landed on that, and then some landed on the ground and some dropped off the ropes.
So how many helicopters total?
I'd say about 7 or 8.
7 or 8. We were told that there were all different type configurations, large helicopters, small helicopters.
That is correct. That's what I saw.
Out here in Kingsville, Texas, every window in the Exxon building has been smashed out. Every single window. And they've come in and boarded up every single one of them. This is from the explosions. They came and blew a hole in the roof, we're told, and the large helicopters landed here, again, at the Exxon administrative building that's been shut down for some time. Blew a hole in the roof and inserted troops inside and practiced killing the evil terrorist. And the police, again, were nearby helping as the relationship was growing. It's so much fun.
The Kingsville Record reporter that heard the noise outside and came rushing out with his camera to take pictures, and his camera was taken away and he was told to go back inside.
From the Exxon building, and again, I want to get a shot of the fact that all the windows were blown out. Brand new plywood has been put up, and the reporter came out, and how dare him come right out in front of his business from the Kingsville Daily.
Sit down. I'll find out now.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
I'm John Womack. Hey,
John Womack. Nice to meet you.
you guys go ahead and have a seat.
Alex Jones, John.
How you doing, Alex?
Good to meet you.
Okay. Turn the camera off.
Okay.
Please take it outside.
Oh, you want to stay outside?
Yeah, on the camera outside.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike. What about audio? Can we get audio?
Just let me clear my people, y'all.
Fantastic.
He's in a meeting. Why don't you guys come back later if you need be.
The person that had the camera taken's in a meeting?
No. My manager, the guy who runs the publisher, runs the newspaper.
Okay, I'm not trying to be, if y'all called me up in Austin, I'd listen to y'all.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just trying to find out if it happened or not.
I understand. It's not my job.
I understand.
Look, I got a paper put out.
Have you heard the story?
No, I've not heard the story.
Should we really come back later, or are you just kind of saying
Wasting time.
Oh, we're wasting our time?
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Audio.
I got it all.
The entire front entrance that we're told was glass and metal by the lady across the street who will not speak on camera from the Kingsville Publishing Company, the local newspaper, the Kingsville Record, says that yes, this was all metal trimmed glass windows. Here, well, all blown away. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise. That's ridiculous. They blew out every window in the structure. Look at it. Must have been some powerful explosives. I'd like to see the inside of this building. And again, you got the newspaper right across the street, won't even talk to us. About the reporter that allegedly had his camera stolen. What's your name?
Judy Hayes.
Judy Hayes, Alex Jones. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
What's your position here?
I'm the lieutenant in charge of the patrol division.
Oh, we're told that Monday evening of this week, there was a Delta Force operation from Fort Bragg, otherwise known as Army Special Operations Command. Can you tell us how many helicopters were involved?
I can tell you that Monday night there was a joint training session between the United States Army and the Kingsville Police Department. The Army was doing some sort of extraction type thing. They used 8 helicopters. Our training involved sealing off the area as if we were involved in taking care of a hazardous materials incident. So we were rerouting traffic and making sure that there was no civilian foot traffic in the area. So we got quite a bit of training in that area.
Did any of your SWAT team, or I see you have 2 officers, look like they're SWAT trained, did they assist the Delta Force in any way?
The only participation on the part of the Kingsville Police Department was in a hazardous materials training session. We did not participate in any way with what the Army was doing.
We're now at the Clyburg County Kingsville Fire Department, and we wanted to talk to the chief. He was out taking care of business, so he called us over the phone, and we did a conference call. I think you'll find this conversation quite interesting. Then we'll get to some other citizens talking about black helicopters.
I am the fire chief.
Okay, you are the fire chief. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you taking time out to talk to us. You were called at, again, 6 p.m. in the evening, several hours before the exercise started, and you had never before been given any information on this?
No, I hadn't.
You hadn't?
I had not had any information prior to the time that the chief advised me.
But y'all were able to get the fire under control once y'all got there?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think what probably happened is when the fire started, it seems that they tried to extinguish it themselves with dry chemicals, and they were unable to, and that's why the fire escalated to the point that it did.
Oh, so the Delta Force tried to put out the fire themselves?
There was evidence to that.
What's your name again, sir?
Carlos Lerma.
Carlos Lerma?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to meet you, City Manager. We'd just like to ask you some simple questions.
As a matter of fact, they used an exercise to secure an area where we might have a hazardous material escape, like from the railroad tracks. We have trains that carry some materials that could be hazardous to you, and sometimes they have spills or an accident on the bypass. So they practiced an exercise to secure an area.
Oh, so local law enforcement actually worked with them?
Yeah.
Actually worked with
Special Forces.
Special Forces from Fort Bragg?
Yeah.
Delta Force?
Yeah.
Are they planning to train any time in the future again here?
Not here. As far as I know, no. They're going to do it somewhere else.
Did they tell you where?
No.
Somewhere in Texas, or?
Yeah, in Texas.
Somewhere in Texas. Name?
Gracie.
Gracie?
Uh-huh.
Gracie, you live here in Kingsville?
Yes, sir. I live in that building right there in Casa Ricardo.
Wow, you live real close. Did you hear about the helicopter assault on the old police station before it happened?
No, until that day. There were all these over there and right there. I'm sorry.
No.
And all that time, all of there'd be no, just around us like that.
And basically, were you at home when you heard the explosions?
Well, for a matter of fact, I had gone for a walk. And I sit, and then when I got here,
Poor thing, you were actually out here.
I sit on the bench, and then I got scared because of the noise. It was so terrible and too loud,
What'd you see? What'd you hear?
Well, they were throwing some bombs, bombing.
Right.
Yeah, and some. I think they were using some rifles too, and the other kind of rifles, the one used stuff like that.
So again, tell us what you saw and heard one more time, because I don't think we have the thing going.
Well, just going back and forth and doing the same thing, but I just couldn't see anything else because I was so scared. I went back to my apartment, and
So you were out walking, and you actually.
Well, I think it started when I got from my walk. I'm not really too sure.
What'd you see in here again? You were saying.
I went back to my apartment because I was so scared, and I got out from there because I could still hear the noise. It was too loud and too fast.
Just pow, 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 or?
Yeah, of everything. I think they were doing everything on the same time.
Explosions and firing
and everything on the same time, and then I saw one getting down from a parachute and way over there.
You're kidding?
Yes, I did.
What kind of uniforms were they in?
I couldn't barely tell.
Couldn't really see him in the dark.
Yeah, it was dark, so it was maybe it's
black uniform
or green or something like that, like the ones that they have, the men from the National Garden. I think they're the same. I could barely tell, and I could barely tell if they were wearing something like that, like his, or I really couldn't tell. But I saw one.
What about the helicopters?
Well, the helicopters, I don't know. I haven't seen them, so close. They were so big, and
What
just
color?
by it. Well, they look like blacks. I couldn't barely tell. Maybe they were black. I don't know.
No flashing lights on them or anything?
I'm afraid they were. There were too much light.
Ma'am.
I'm sorry.
What's your first and last name again? Gracie, we were just driving back by the police station that had the activities where they were practicing taking over the police station. We just stopped, and we didn't say a word to you about black helicopters, did we?
No.
We just asked you what you saw, and you said you heard pop, 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 and you said.
Well, I got to see the helicopters anyway, and I got to see them.
And they were black, you're saying?
I think. I'm not too sure, because I see them on TV. So
it was nighttime, and yeah.
Yeah, between. It was 7 to 9 in the evening, 7 to 9. And it was a fire, but I don't know where. I think it was in that building.
They've already painted over it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it all black this morning?
Yeah, it's been all these days like that. I think they fixed it up. But I couldn't tell if it was, right there or over there. So I guess.
Now, wait. You said you saw somebody with a parachute. Can you point the direction where you saw the guy in the parachute?
Well, let's see. Like near the fence, way over there.
Way a couple hundred yards over there.
Yeah.
Now, are they coming down from ropes or actual parachutes?
Well, I couldn't barely tell.
They were just coming out of the sky in the dark.
I couldn't tell if it was a parachute, if it was a rope. I just saw him, getting down. That's all.
That is just absolutely incredible. How long did it last?
Oh, I don't know. You mean when they finish, they end? I'm not sure. It's like I said, it was 7 till 9. That's what they told me there. I'm not sure.
And so it went on for several hours.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
The gunfire and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, they had trouble with their imaginary enemy, didn't they?
I guess.
Must have been many different teams that wanted to.
They were using so many things that I could barely tell what they were.
So there were explosions and rapid gunfire?
And they also stopped on the top of the building right there.
Which one?
That one right there,
You're talking about the old Exxon building.
Yeah, that one right here.
They blew out almost smashed every window in that building?
Yes, they did. But
we heard that large helicopters landed on the top.
Yes. Mostly all of them, I think. They stopped right there in that building on the top.
They just landed on top of the building?
Yeah, and then they got away. They flew away.
Huh.
And I also saw a lot of men, you know, that I think they were going up and those things, you know.
What about the police?
Well, the police, I don't know about them. I don't know what they did. They, you know, they were just taking care of the area, that's all.
While the Delta Force did their work.
They were standing over there, and I went over there, and over here there were a whole bunch of them. I think there were...
Did you appreciate not being warned and suddenly having black helicopters swarming?
No.
You didn't enjoy that?
No, not really, because, you know, I was thinking myself that they should be, you know, have done that here because it's dangerous, you know.
Well, you know what they're doing. They want to do this to citizens in the future, martial law, and I don't want to scare you is being prepared in this country. And what they're trying to do is, have you ever noticed how if you get somebody into something a little bit at a time, they're ready to accept it? They're easing America in to it to where people are used to seeing black helicopters fly over and explosions.
I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I'm not trying to scare you. They're not coming after you.
No, it's all right.
Don't worry, they're coming after
Even if they are, maybe the others they are. They said a war is coming this way, so I don't know. Maybe, you know, they just wanted us to know, to see how, you know, how they fight in the war. That's what I've been thinking about it.
You're right. They want you to know that they're ready.
And maybe, you know, if that war comes over here, that war, you know, it probably would be, the noise, you know, would be more louder and stronger, you know?
Out of the mouths of babes. Innocent, nice old lady. Here she is. They want you to know. And so next time when it comes, it's going to be bigger and you'll know what to do. Desensitization. Use your common sense. This is Exposing Corruption. We're out of time. We've played over 30 minutes of tape, but next week we'll play some more. That's right. Next week we will play some more. We have dozens of other interviews, more information. We've got about 11 minutes left. Again, my name is Alex Jones. This is Exposing Corruption. I want to thank the crew. Buckley even came in tonight despite the fact that he's sick. My girlfriend's sick. A lot of people are sick right now. Again, if you just tuned in to what you're seeing, black helicopters. Black, you heard the fire chief, you heard many other people, workers that were there repairing the damage. Black helicopters attacked Port Aransas and Kingsville. Now, in Kingsville, they had prior knowledge. Only the police force did. The sheriff's department, many others did in a highly dangerous situation. They knocked down a power line outside town, created some serious fire damage and a serious hazard with live fire in the middle of Kingsville. The city itself, 25,000 people, 50,000 people in Clayburgh County, the county that Kingsville is centrally located in, about 30 miles outside of Corpus Christi. The Corpus Christi newspaper, and I've called to confirm this, the Corpus Christi Caller Times, you can check it out, callertimes.com. One Texas Police, this is WorldNet Daily, excuse me, you can check it out. The mayor, Port Aransas Mayor Glenn Martin, said he didn't know how to answer questions from residents about the training because he hadn't been notified. This happened 4 days later on Friday night. I didn't know what was going on, Martin said. They were calling me up and asking me about a bunch of black helicopters. They took over a refinery in this case. Federal Emergency Management Coordinator in Clyburn County and Director of FEMA repeat in Kingsville, former Vietnam veteran, 2.5 terms till he was almost mortally wounded. Thomas Sanchez was on my radio program last night. Next week we'll probably play some audio clips for you. Can't get him up here in town. I understand why. He's also head of the Texas State National Guard military police. This is not a kook. This is a FEMA person. This is serious. He says that preparing for martial law. You can also see a transcript of the interview that he did with WorldNet Daily. I turned him on to them. Down there, he's very angry, where he talks about Presidential Directive 25. They're preparing for martial law. He told me last night and Central Texas that he is extremely angry and that these people are the enemy in the Delta Force. Again, I'm getting massive support from people at Fort Hood, Marines, Army, you name it. They're very angry. High-level officers cannot believe this. Again, it's an executive decision, directive. This is an executive activity of Bill Clinton, someone who supposedly abhors the military. All these phony liberals and bootlickers out there And all these phony conservatives, claim they love the military so much, but these liberals claim they hate it, these phony liberals. And now here they are, but it's their military. Just like Ron Silver said, the Hollywood actor, at Clinton's inaugural in 93, elected in 92, but inaugurated in 93. A couple days later, they had the World Trade Center bombing that Clinton engineered in Oklahoma City in 95. But he said at the inaugural, look at those jets. And Hillary looked to him and said, those are our jets now. Think about it. They love you. They're going to take good care of you. Suddenly, the newer, kindler, gentler military girding itself in the special teams in black, expanding the teams. And Governor Bush, Monday night, he released his statement. You can read it at WorldNet Daily. We've also called, confirmed with their office. That's worldnetdaily.com. In fact, is there a way, guys, to put up WorldNet Daily? It's www.worldnetdaily.com, real fast. And then, of course, the address at the end of this program. We're going to launch our own internet site with information for you, but we got busy building Joe Campana a new house because the city was going to bulldoze it, so we haven't gotten on this new project as of yet. We're too busy going out of town and things to confront what's happening. Governor Bush says, well, the local people, it's up to them if they're going to have the military and do these live fire training exercises. Well, number one, it's a direct violation of the 10th Amendment and the posse comitatus. But most importantly, San Antonio doesn't want them, and it's been all over KTSA and WOAI radio stations and all their TV down there in San Antonio that they are hopping mad. They don't want them. You've seen the chief on this show back in May, Allie Philippus of San Antonio, former Army intelligence, throwing him out for trying to bribe him. Transcript of that's on WorldNet Daily. There's a bunch of articles. The big headline article is the military admits they were using live fire now. They've stopped lying. In the middle of a population center. But you've got to understand, repeat, you've got to understand that they're in San Antonio right now at the most centrally located. There are what, dozens of bases in and around San Antonio, but they're picking the smallest and the most centrally located, despite the fact the mayor asked them not to overfly the city and do their live fire and blow things up in front of everybody downtown at Fort Sam Houston. They're bivouacked there as we speak. The operation could be going on tonight or tomorrow night. Who knows? But I just won't be sleeping the next few days. We'll be doing our best to get you footage. Oh, like I should go tonight. I shouldn't go to tomorrow. It doesn't matter. I got to have sleep. It is incredible. This is the biggest story. What's the New York Times have yesterday? A little blip about how, well, a military exercise caused a fire. Why don't they talk about Port Aransas, not Kingsville? I may go to Port Aransas tomorrow as well. There's so many sites because now we're told from two sources that I have at two different military bases, one in California, one at Fort Hood here in Texas, that they're inserting 100 anti-terrorism specialists into the city of Corpus Christi. Again, this is all an exercise. They're trying to start a fight. At the same time, they're trying to desensitize the public. Oh, that's what like helicopters do. They don't ask permission. They just blow things up. It's crazy. We were in Kingsville for the Monday incident, Wednesday night and Thursday after it happened, as soon as we got down there. But now they're going to Port Aransas, they're going to other towns and engaging in this activity all across Texas, all in South Texas. It's crazy, it's wrong, it's dangerous, it's unconstitutional. This is a military action. A lot of military leaders are quoted in WorldNet Daily saying they don't believe this, but it's all part of Chairman Shelton, the new Joint Chiefs of Staff after John Shalikashvili, the last one, the son of a Polish death camp operator for the Nazis. These are wonderful people we're talking about. And his specialty wasn't engineering or wasn't logistics. No, it was civilian population control and internment. That was his job. He's from Fort Bragg. Now he's running the whole thing. Clinton now wants, and it's been in all the major papers the last few weeks, he wants a U.S. Theater of Operations czar commander, make this an actual war zone, never been done in U.S. history. They want a Theater of Operations commander for U.S. operations, expressly. Clinton is expressly doing what is unconstitutional. 2 weeks ago, 2 Thursdays ago, it was in the Dallas Morning News, front page. It's been in the New York Times. They're all telling you how great it is. A U.S. Theater Command Operations Officer, a high-level general, 3- or 4-star general. I want you to think about that. What they're doing. Coup d'etat, takeover, domination, criminality. Clinton does not want to leave office. To the serious people out there, it's time to call every radio and every TV station and demand this be the #1 story. It's been on most of the talk radio stations here in town, the two that are left, KJFK 98.9 FM and KLBJ 590 AM. I called KLBJ repeatedly and said, look, cover this, faxing the stuff. And finally, 4 or 5 days late, they did air it, but we do appreciate that. 98.9 KJFK supports free speech in Austin, Texas. Do we have time to get WorldNet Daily up there? You can see this. You can see photos of this information on the cover story. Go down in it, and then it'll have a link to the last story from this Monday with the digital photos you've seen here on WorldNet Daily. Just scroll down. We'll say photos of fire damage, and you can click on that, and it'll take you right to it, to the story that has those photos. So again, guys, we're not making this stuff up. It's worldnetdaily.com. There you go, WorldNet Daily. We'll put up an address for you later to write to us or any other information here in Austin, Texas. Again, my name is Alex Jones. Refusing to submit to the lies and the corruption and the out-of-control bureaucracy. It's the history of the world. Serious people, it's time for you to stand up and stand up strong. Do it today. Get involved. Get motivated. Wake up the American people. If you'll just get off the bench, and that's enough, guys, great job. If you'll just get off the bench and get proactive and cease to be a spectator and get in the game in some small way. You don't have to save the world by yourself. It's not a drive-through window instant solution. Expend the energy, toil in the fields, watch the fruits bear. That's what it comes down to. Now, there's so many lies. There's so many brands of corruption. There's so much garbage. There's so many balkanized systems, problem, reaction, solution, order out of chaos. Smash through it. Smash through it today. You have the capacity. You have the will. You have got to do it. Come on. Listen. Listen to me. They've taught you not to believe in anything. They've taught you to never come to a decision. They've taught you to never believe in anything concrete and solid. Meanwhile, you're rudderless out there and they're driving forward towards a human boot, as Orwell said, or towards a boot stomping on the human face. Come on! All this phony environmentalism, all this phony garbage, they're dumping it all on the rest of the world. It's about your property. It's about your life. It's about your kids. Clinton signed $2.4 billion for federal checkpoints to check for seat belts. At the same time, search your vehicle. They're getting citizens involved. And now you've got a FEMA director down in that area telling you, Thomas Sanchez. You've got him telling you, Presidential Directive Decision 25, I've warned you about it. They're getting ready. Hoarding of food can get you in a labor camp. This is history. Come on. Get involved. I'll see you Monday night for the Freedom Report. 9 o'clock. You hear me? 9 o'clock, Channel 10 for the Freedom Report.
Well, hello, folks. This is Mike Hanson. I'm sorry to interrupt your classic watching of the videos here on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching them. I wanted to take a moment to tell you that we are in the process of putting all these 25 to 30-year-old tapes on the computer and on the internet. It takes a lot of money to do that. You got to transfer all these tapes over, which are VHS old tapes, and then you turn around and have to edit them and put them on the computer and then upload them to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're putting them. And I think it's a very good idea to do that for history. And I probably have between Alex Jones and Jeff Davis and Bob Dacey, George Humphrey, and some of those other, Desi Andrews and some of those other tapes. I'm enjoying a really good Mexican dinner, by the way. We have about 2,000 of those tapes, and then Wyla, a really good friend of the Branch Davidians, she passed away and left me all of her videotapes I'm trying to get up. And then also the Trailer Park Show. We also have the Trailer Park Show the Trailer Park Show archives on YouTube too. We're trying to get all of Jimmy Ritter's wife died, which was the producer of the Trailer Park Show and really helped me out on Alex and Jeff's show. Chris Ritter died also, and we're trying to get all her archives up. probably 500 or 600 of those too. So I'm in a really big bind. But do your subscribing there on the YouTube to Mike Hanson Archives. Hanson Archives. Our new ones are Waco Archives, Joyce Isaacs Archives, and the Trailer Park Show Archives. And be sure to, if you would like to donate to get all this done here, and you like our channels, donate at P.O. Box 481, Gonzales, Texas 78629. Our phone number here, if you'd like to buy my book. Maybe we'll put a little ad up right after this on my book, Bohemian Grove, Cult of Conspiracy. Send us $25 and I'll sign it and send it back to you. That money will go to either our organization that helps people out or to transfer these tapes over. Alrighty, back to your classic viewing here. Back probably 20, 25, 30 years ago. Here we go. Thanks a lot and God bless. Mike Hanson here. Your Facebook friend, old producer.
It is the best and most comprehensive book on Bohemian Grove, and it's written by Mike Hanson, my old camera guy.
Mike Hanson Archives.
You ready to run?
Come on, anybody want to come up here? All right, that's it. All right, come on, who wants to lead it? Let Gene go. Go ahead. Yes, sir. All right. God bless the Republic. Death